When we started Driven by Design, I think the essential thing was to sort of start doing a little bit of work around crowdsourcing, because we knew there's a lot of talent out there in the world. A lot of people are looking to express themselves, and we thought, okay, let's give a platform for expression, and that's where I think Driven by Design started. So we said, okay, let's do different types of work. Okay, people who are good with creative work on maybe 2D media like posters, etc., and then going on to race suits, helmets, and ultimately the livery. Because the end of the thing, I thought it could be something which is really interesting for folks to sort of go back and talk and say, yes, I've had an influence on Mahindra Racing. In Driven by Design, we had a couple of competitions, and we've sort of been encouraging this again since season 1. Particularly note was, I think, the livery competition in season 3. Because that was a time we had just acquired Pininfarina, the design studio, and we thought, okay, money can't buy experience. For a winner could be an internship for a week or something at Pininfarina. So that's how we sort of linked it back, saying for an aspiring designer, we could take them to one of the world's best design studios and give them that experience. And I thought, okay, we could link that back together, and it really worked very well. And that whole experiment of implementing that livery design was something amazing. And I think again, when you talk about Driven by Design, another episode which comes to my mind is naming of a car. In I think season 5, we had the name coming from England called Electroface, and people didn't expect us to sort of go ahead with it, and we said, yes, we're going to do it. So once it was voted in, we're not going to change. So at the end of the day, I think we sort of stood true to our grounds of saying, people will come and participate in Driven by Design, and we are going to give you the opportunity to sort of go show your talent. And I think last but not the least would be, we had a person who was to participate a lot in our competitions and like submitted literally at every competition we had in like the first 2-3 years. And then when we needed and we had an opening for a creative designer on the team, we actually went and hired this person. So I think at the end of the day, the story is, yes, there's been someone who's been in our team for the last 3 years who came in because of his contributions to Driven by Design. When we did Driven by Design, we wanted to, as I said, like democratize stuff what we're doing, and then sort of using the power and distribution of digital media, like have people from around the world. And I think our record is we've touched more than 100 countries across Driven by Design competitions. And I think one of the more interesting ones, where I saw a lot of collaboration between countries and nationalities, was when end of season 2, we had brought this challenge for designing a track in Delhi. And when people sort of got together and they started critiquing others' designs, contributing, and like once people sketched out, like someone from, I think, Russia sketched out a design in Delhi and someone else went and sort of modeled it, etc. So we suddenly saw this collaborations, and I remember we took it to Formula E to show them a design, and we had more than 100 designs coming off a track, and a lot of them were actually viable tracks in Delhi. So yeah, in the end, I never want to underestimate the power of crowdsourcing. So when you talk about design, I think there are various different definitions for it, and I'm not a purist from that perspective. I think for me, it is like, was it, again, now I'm just scratching my head out here, was it Milton Keynes who said, I think of beauty as a joy forever. I think that's purity of design, is when you look at something which is nice, it's just going to be immortal after that. And I think some of the like the classic cars, look at classic colors, classic liveries. We're talking about liveries right now, what McLaren did at Monaco recently, the Gulf livery. See, that was something which is conceived, I think, in the 1960s, and that's a classic for time to come. And I think that's about design, it is going to remain beautiful across different seasons. This year, unfortunately, we have not done as much as we wanted to Driven by Design, because again, with the pandemic and lack of resources, etc. around the world. But I'm really pleased that we've been able to sort of get the race suit for London organized, and it's really cool because we have 2 British drivers. This is the home race, it's a double header, and each of these guys are really enthusiastic. So I think this was a perfect opportunity to give people a chance to sort of have the designs out there with Alexander and Alex, and I think they're going to be really proud, because each of them are going to be picking a day to be racing with it, and at the end of it, I'm hoping that we are able to get one of the suits back to you, whoever's designed it. So in terms of what I'm looking for from the race suit designers, guys, use your creativity. Okay, think about the heritage of Mahindra Racing. I would love to see where we can play on heritage. Maybe that's just my perspective. Then I'm not the judge, I'm not the jury. I'm just only going to be enjoying what you guys have created, because Alex and Alexander will be picking their design that they will be going ahead with. But yeah, I can might be able to give them a nudge if there's something to do with heritage.